Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about linear equations and function tables. Okay, this is something different. You've been working on integers. This is something that you're going to use with it. All right. Now, your objective for this video is, as a student, you should be able to use function tables to graph a linear equation. I'm going to give you some background information. First off, what is a linear equation? Well, a linear equation is really simple. It's an equation whose graph forms a straight line. Linear means line. It needs to be straight. If you don't have a straight line, you did it wrong. Linear equations are usually shown on a coordinate plane. Okay, you'll see a couple of those. It's like the one on the right, but with numbers on it. And real-life situations of linear equations include like the stock market as well as the payments you make on a car. Okay, as you pay off, you reduce the amount you owe, and things like that are going to be linear. Okay. Now, in this particular case, parts of a coordinate plane, we need to be very careful. Remember that the line going from left to right is the x-axis, okay? That's really important for us to know that the x-axis, and we always go along this line first because x comes before y. We also need to remember that the y-axis is straight up and down, okay? So we have this straight up and down here, and that's the y. And our origin is at 0, okay? So we need to remember those things. Now, there's a couple other things that we need to remember. Notice the origin is 0. Quadrant 1 is in the top right. This goes counterclockwise. So you need to make sure of this because you will see questions on the I-STEP about which quadrant each point is in. So quadrant 1 is in the top right, quadrant 2 is in the top left, quadrant 3 is in the bottom left, and quadrant 4 is in the bottom right. Okay? So those are your 4 quadrants. Be careful because you'll be asked questions about those. Let's move on. You do need to grab graphic organizer number 4. I would pause the video and get this at this time. We're going to go ahead and get started. So what do? Well, here it is. We have a rule. Basically, example number 1. We've got some numbers over here on the side. We have -2. All right? And then over here we have this formula that we need to figure out. It's actually an equation that we're going to solve. Now, here's the deal. What you're actually doing is you're solving to get a point called x and y so that you can plot them on the graph. In the first one, you'll see where my arrow is pointing. We already have the x. The x is -2. Okay, but we need to find the y. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this rule that we have at the top that just put a box around, and we're going to solve for what y equals. Okay, so y equals, and we're going to just plug in that -2 for the x. So we have 2. And we're going to multiply by -2 minus 2. And we follow the same order of operations, so we do multiplying first. 2 times -2 is -4. Remember Pizza Steve? Minus 2. -4 minus 2, those are both bills. Our answer is -6. So in our box, we need to put -6. Okay? We're going to move on. I'm going to choose a different color so it's easier for you guys to see. Here we go. Now we're going to move on. Now that we have the first one, which is at -2, -6, we're going to do the same thing for the number 1. So I'm going to put that in for this one right here. Okay, so for 1, we're going to go y equals 2 times 1 minus 2. We're going to go ahead and do multiplying first because it's still following the order of operations. Y equals 2 minus 2, and 2 minus 2 is 0. So this one is a 0. We're going to do the same thing for the last one. We're just going to plug it in. Okay, we're going to put -3 in there, so y equals 2 times -3 minus 2. And 2 times -3 is -6 minus 2. And -6 minus 2, those are both bills. The answer is -8. So now that we have filled out our chart, okay, or our function table, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use those points and plot them on the number line. You are going to need a ruler. You should probably pause this video and get a ruler because if you're not using a ruler, I am not going to accept it. They need to be straight lines. So point number 1 is at -2, -6. So this is the point that we're working at, -2, -6. Remember to go around the x-axis first. So -2, -6, which is right here. Okay, so there's that point. You need to put a point right on there. And then you need to do the next one. We're going to do 1 and 0. 1 across the x-axis and 0 means it's right there. And finally, -3, -8, which is all the way down at the bottom. And look at that. Now, are we done? No, we actually have to create a straight line. So we're going to put a line through them. It's going to be a straight line, and that's what you use your ruler for. And you need an arrow on both sides because it can continue. I could use additional numbers and it will keep going. You are completely done with example number 1. Let's move on to example number 2. This one, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to plug in our numbers, We're going to create our function chart, and then we're going to graph them. So negative 2. So we got 3 times negative 2 plus 1. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6 plus 1. That's a bill and an allowance. It's going to be negative 5. We're going to do the next one. Y equals 3 times 1 plus 1. That's 3 plus 1 equals 4. The answer is 4. Next one, we have negative 3. Make myself some room. So we have 3 times negative 3 plus 1. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9 plus 1 equals negative 8. So those are our answers. I'm going to go ahead and plug those points in. Negative 2, negative 5. Negative 2, negative 5. Down here in the bottom left. 1, 4. 1 and 4 is way up here. And negative 3, negative 8, which is way down here. And once again, I should be able to create it with a line. Okay, I should be able to go through. That line's a little bit off, so I need to make sure I'm going through all 3. There you go. Make sure I put an arrow at the end of it, just like I just did, and you're done. Straight line. Make sure you use a ruler. Good to go. Those are our first 2. Now let's do some independent practice. You guys, try this one. This is independent practice number 1. It's the only independent practice. Pause the video. Try this one. In just a few seconds, I'm going to go over it. Go ahead. All right, I'm ready to go. Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. So that one should have been positive 8. This should have been negative 6, and you should have gotten 6. You needed to go ahead and put those together. Negative 4, negative 8. You should have had a point down here at the bottom left. You should have had one at 3, negative 6, which is way down here. And you should have had one at negative 3, negative 6, which is find a negative 3, 3, negative 6. Got it. And 3, 6. Negative 3, 6. Gotta find it. Whoa, messed up. Go back. Sorry. Let's do this right. Mr. Williams messed up here. All right. Y equals minus 2 times minus 4. Negative times negative equals 8. The next one, negative 2 times 3 equals negative 6. Okay? And negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. So here we go. Now we're going to do it. Negative 4 and 8. So let's go to negative 4 and 8. Okay? I just went on the wrong side. It's negative 4 and 8, so it's positive. Mr. Williams put it in the wrong spot. 3 and negative 6. Sorry about that. 3 and negative 6 is all the way down here. Mr. Williams messed up in this video. And negative 3 and 6. So negative 3 over here, and 6 is way up there. There we go. Mr. Williams made a mistake. Anyway, this is what you should have. Sorry about that, guys. And, whoops. Make sure you got your arrow on it. Make sure it's a straight line. Make sure you use the ruler, and you're good to go. All right. You guys got an exit ticket. This is your exit ticket. You need to do these 2. Now, you notice right here, before you get started, that this one says f of x. That means a function of x. All that means is y. Okay? F of x means y. So it's the same exact thing. You're doing the same exact different thing. You're just using these 2 graphs. You need to try these 2, see if you get them correct. Check them with me once you're done, because guess what? Those are going to help you on your worksheet. Your worksheet is going to be worksheet number 14 when you have completed this exit ticket. Ladies and gentlemen, if you need anything, good luck. Let me know. Sorry I messed up in this video. Have a good day.